Hello and welcome back to the Spin the Rock podcast. I'm your host Angel, and with me today are my co-hosts
Eugene?
And Bon.
All right, we have some news for a long time. It's been a while. I feel like since we had like decent news, and then we also have an exciting hot seat and main topic that we want to get into. First off, the bigger one. Uh, Steph signed a 1 year with the Warriors extension. How do y'all feel about this? Are you thinking he might leave? Are you thinking it's just whatever? Let me know your thoughts. Oh, and it's
This for
62.6.
yeah, 62 million for 1 year of work. That's pretty wicked. I'm not surprised it's not longer, only because like Curry kind of sees the team and the direction it's heading toward right now. So like I think it ends 2026, 2027 that puts him through. Like that's either an early retirement or that man's bouncing. Like, there's no reason why to stick around for a team that's like complete rebuild. But at least these few years ahead, it kind of gives some wiggle room. I mean, at worst, he requests a trade, all up Damian Lillard style. So like, it's not like he's completely locked up in the Warriors franchise.
You say early retirement, but you also got to think like he's 40, bruh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
And
I
he's
forget
had a
how old he
plethora of
actually
injuries
is.
as well. So like it seems early, but it's really not, you know?
Right.
I'm kind of surprised that it's only 1 year, but I do agree that, you know, he does see where the Warriors are going, you know, in terms of how they've been playing recently and what they're trying to do draft wise. It'll be interesting to see, though, you know, after his contract ends, the decision he'll make, whether that's retirement or not. I don't think, I'm not going to say I don't think he should. He can do whatever he wants. But I think he definitely still has time left in the league, especially with his play style. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like even if he's in the twilight years, he could go the Ray Allen route. Just be a role player. So
Exactly.
that's he's got options.
I think honestly, it's more so. I feel like it's whether he tests free agency or asks for a trade. I think one of those are bound to happen. I don't see him extending like one more time or straight up signing right away. I think he's either gonna test free agency, ask for a trade, and he's either gonna leave or he's just gonna like test it and be like, I'm gonna be a Warrior still. I just honestly don't see him extending like another year or 2 more years.
Yeah. I only say retirement because he just might be a one-team player. You know what I mean? He just
Yeah.
only want to be a Warrior. Besides, he's done all that he can do on that team and in the league. You know what I mean? So I think he'll end up retiring a Warrior. I don't see why he would end up somewhere else. And I hope to God he doesn't pull a Paul Pierce. But we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't see him. I don't know. It's just weird to me seeing him retire because I know that he is older than we realize. He'll be like 37, maybe even 38 by the time his contract expires. But like I feel like it would be so weird for him to like retire anywhere else but Golden State if he's gonna do a retirement run. But it's also like, why only extend 1 year? Unless like while we're talking, he's gonna announce it like, "Hey, I'm retiring." By the way, but like, I don't know. It's just weird to me.
It just like if you're Steph Curry and you're 38 and you're hitting free agency, do you really want to go to a different team and like ring chase? You know, if it's ring chasing or bag chasing, like you don't really need to do that if you're Steph Curry at this point. So
Because on top of that, he's making so much money outside of basketball too, you know? Like it would just be unnecessary.
Yeah, for sure. It's also just like weird, like why? Like I feel like Curry of all people wouldn't need to do that because he's still playing at a high level. I would understand if he was like, Gary Payton, like just riding the bench to get the ring, but like at the same time, like, but he's not. He literally just won a ring like 3 seasons ago. So I don't know. It's weird. Next up, Zubac, basically an all-time Laker at this point. 3-year, $58.6 million extension with the Clippers. Only $4 million less than Curry for 2 more years is actually insane. Like, anyways, how you feel about this?
that man will not see the end of his contract in a Clippers uniform. He will eventually get traded. The Clippers, I can see the rebuild coming. Zubac is maybe 2 second rounders, maybe a late first round pick.
Yeah, like he's definitely worth it, but with how the Clippers are trending right now, he's probably on the way out, which, I don't understand why teams do things like this. They re-sign the player and then later end up trading him, but he definitely is worth it. I think any team could use a guy like him. Does all the dirty work a team needs. So we'll see how the Clippers and Zubac fare, but
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know why he's still there, bro. It's like a relic from an old from a past time. Like out of all the players from that weird Clippers era, like when like Blake Griffin and Jordan and Chris Paul left, Pat Bev is gone, Harrell is gone, but who's still there? Zubac, and that's crazy to me that he's the one who's still there. I don't know.
With
I just makes me like, why?
it's LA, bro. He loves
I
the LA
guess.
life.
probably
I
it's got to be that. Maybe Clippers paid him a little more money than anywhere else would have given him. But I don't know if the Clippers will be good this season. But now that Paul George is out of the picture, James Harden and Zubac are probably going to run the pick and roll to death.
Mhm.
Oh,
Zubac
yeah.
can get some 20-20 games. I see that coming. But yeah, to me, it's a whatever move. But to him, I mean, get your money, I guess.
No, for real. Bro, should we talk about Lonnie Walker?
No, bro. Who's talking
True.
about Lonnie Walker, bro?
If he was gonna go crazy, it would have been last year on the Nets. Like the Nets weren't good. There's nothing going on, and he only had like 9 points a game.
Yeah. Sorry, Lonnie. Good luck on the Celtics, bro.
Yeah, good luck trying to get minutes. To be honest.
Yeah, right.
All right. Now moving on to our hot seat question, which thinking of hot seat questions is getting harder, bro. I'm not gonna lie. But this one has something to do with our topic, not necessarily entirely, but as you know, 2K has been doing this thing where they have a story mode with their cover athlete. I know it was Kobe, we got Jordan. I don't know who it is this year. I'm not gonna lie, I'm sleeping on 2K. But
I think it was Curry.
Curry, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, the Curry era.
So, who would you want to see? Who would you want to have their own little 2K showcase? What player would like Loki get you excited to play? And what can they do to spice it up? Because right now it's just redoing certain moments. What would it do? What else could they do to get you a little bit more hype about their showcase, if at all?
like what other player do I want to see, like era wise?
Because you know how with the Jordan one, it was like you played Jordan in like his North Carolina games, and then like Kobe, it was like the Kobe moments. So like, who would you want to like play through their career?
I don't know how they would make it work legally, and I don't think there'd be a lot of interest for it, and I would probably only play it for a couple hours. But give me an ABA era. I want to see those teams of those players.
That would be
I know
fire,
nothing.
Loki.
That would be
So-
that would be wild. That's a lot of research too, you know.
Yeah, like a lot of stuff like is probably lost to time, so it's probably a little bit of guesswork too.
For me, probably it would never happen. But probably a Melo.
That's a good
Oh.
one.
Like, you know, the Syracuse freshman year run, and then, you know, recreating his best moments on the Nuggets and Knicks. That would be tough. I think that would be tough.
That would be fire, low key.
True. Plus, like if they could get like college era Mello to get a few of like the college teams during that run,
Right.
like it could be like their foot in the door to like NCAA basketball like full game release on itself. So
Mhm.
I would be down for that.
Kind of in the same vein as y'all, where it's like, has a good college games and also had an amazing NBA career. Dwayne Wade, that would be dope.
Yeah, D Wade would be hard.
Like seeing like going through like his like Marquette run, and then also like that year where Tim and Shaq just randomly got a ring. Like that would be like a fun little showcase to run through.
Mm. Or I mean, hey, or even Shaq. They don't have a big.
True,
Yeah.
Shaq.
Yeah, Shaq would be dope because he, you know, was all over between the Magic, Lakers, Heat, even Celtic Shaq.
Yeah, LSU.
Right?
I think that's what they need to do, bro. They need to pick players with like who also have solid college careers too, because then you can like really just have a long ass like mode where you're just like LSU Shaq. If Kemba Walker was even just a little bit more decent, you could have the UConn run.
Right. Or even like a foreign player, you know, Luca or a Dirk.
Oh,
You
true.
know?
Starting in the Euro League, bro.
Yeah, that would
That
be
would
dope.
be sick. Luca on Real Madrid when he was like 16. That'd be fire.
Paired up against Westbrook. Yeah, that would be dope.
All right. And the reason why I said this kind of fits into our topics because today's episode is based off of that. A few episodes ago, we did a topic, and literally the entire time we just kept going, what if, what if, what if. So, in inspiration of that, we're starting our what if series officially today with what if teams. And this is basically this what ifs that have to do with like what if this player never got traded, what if this team was never just all injured, or just what if this person got drafted. It's just a bunch of what ifs that have to do with mainly the teams and not specifically moments or players. So who wants to kick us off with that?
Okay. So as you can see, we got Chris Paul and the Rockets in my background here. 2017 offseason was a bit crazy. You had Chris Paul going to the Clippers and Hall, Pat Bev, Montrez. And then there was Paul George going to the Thunder, and then Oladipo and Sabonis to Indiana. And then at the very end of the summer, the last big deal to go down was Kyrie to the Celtics. Now, if Chris Paul hadn't gotten traded to the Rockets so early, I would have pictured something where the Cavs trade for Chris Paul instead. Now, the unfortunate thing about that Kyrie trade to the Celtics is they got Isaiah Thomas in return, Jay Crowder, and those guys just wasn't what they were looking for. They trade them. And what they ended up getting in the end was like George Hill, Jordan Clarkson, Larry Nance Jr. Not a great haul for basically what was Kyrie, but Chris Paul on that Cavs team, at least they would win a game in those finals. It wouldn't be a sad, sorry sweep, you know. Now I don't know how much it would change LeBron James's future going to the Lakers and such, but I think the other part of that is Kyrie to the Clippers would be pretty interesting as well. Like he I think at least wouldn't have a lot of young rooks under his belt. He would have at least a Blake Griffin, at least an Andre Drummond, and maybe the Clippers don't completely rehaul the roster. And maybe even coming towards the future, a Kawhi doesn't request a Paul George to the Clippers if that comes down to it. Maybe it is a Kawhi Kyrie team up at some point. So I just thought I'd throw that out there for like a food for thought scenario.
Yeah, that would be pretty crazy. I think Kyrie would have had a solid fit on the Clippers, you know, if we think about it, about how that team was.
Point guard for point guard.
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely an interesting thought.
Bro, I think
Oh no, you got it.
I think the most interesting part is like, yeah, bro, LeBron probably would have stayed at least like maybe just one more year.
Maybe
because after that,
Paul. It's
it
friend,
is Chris Paul, and like the reason, like LeBron dipped at like LeBron was like, bro, you got me the scraps of the league, you know. It probably would have been harder to get him to go to the Lakers, especially because Chris Paul and him are like actual friends too.
I mean, but you got to think about it though. How long did D Wade last in Cleveland? He didn't last that long. You know what I mean? That was with LeBron on the team.
Yeah, you can make that case for D Wade, but D Wade was also old as hell at that point. Like his knees were shot.
Also, D Wade on the Cavs was just like a sad thing to think about, bro.
Right.
Bro, like Derrick Rose was on the Cavs too, and like he wasn't him at that point. You know, this was before he made the Timberwolves, and there was just a lot of not a good fit for a lot of those guys, which was unfortunate. But you know, Chris Paul though, at least taking some playmaking duties away from LeBron.
That's for sure, bro. LeBron loves his pass first guys, bro.
That's evidenced by Kyrie.
Kyrie, D Wade would also get him open looks, bro. Won a ring with Rondo. I mean,
yep.
Bro, like get him a pass first, get him a passer, and that man's gonna fucking do damage.
Right. Well, for me, as you can see by my background, one of the most probably storied trade rumors / vetoes probably ever in the NBA. Chris Paul getting traded out of I think it was like whatever the lockout season was, coming out of there. Chris Paul from the Hornets, the Lakers were trying to trade Powell and I think it was Lamar Odom for Chris Paul. And David Stern said, you thought. Vetoed it straight away, straight as it hit his desk.
That's
probably was for the better, I think, given how Chris Paul has ended up and given how Kobe ended up with 5 rings. You know what I mean? But also in the grand scheme of things, Pau Gasol is essentially one of probably the number 2 option on that team. And then Lamar Odom was used to space the floor, whether that was passing or his mid-range game. So trading both of those big pieces of the team away just for a pass first point guard we definitely would have not ended up how we look today. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like people when they think on this, they think it's an instant ring. But you lose Pau Gasol's defense. Like, he was the anchor on the inside. As you said, Lamar Odom is a good floor spacer. And I know Chris Paul also is a good scorer and a good defender at his position. But, like, what are you filling in the gaps with what you just lost going for Chris Paul, you know? Like, that may not be a immediate solution right in front of you. That may have taken multiple seasons to find the guy to fill that hole. And
Mhm.
maybe even Chris Paul and Kobe, I know they respected each other, but maybe they clash or something. They're both. We all know they're pretty strong personalities. So who knows what would have happened in the locker room, or maybe they would have gone along just fine. That's a
Right.
big question.
I think my favorite theory about that is that the reason why the NBA vetoed it is because at the time they were technically owners of Charlotte, and so they were like, "We don't want to lose money." No, like that's literally my favorite theory because it makes sense. That's the only like there was no reason to veto that trade really, because like you guys said, they gave up solid pieces, so it's not
Mhm.
like it was like KD and the Warriors was probably a more of a bomb drop trade than that was because at least like the Warriors gave up basically nothing for KD, bro.
Yeah.
Like at least the Lakers are actually getting rid of like solid pieces. And then
Right.
my other thing is that like with the Lakers, you honestly have no idea how it would have turned out because the
Mhm.
Lakers they can get players at a moment's notice, but at the same time, failure is like you lose and don't do well like just 2 years in a row, and they're instantly like, okay, we gotta go now.
Mhm.
So it's also like it could have either been like major success or a flop era like Steve Nash.
Right.
So
Yeah,
like
like because also who's to say we didn't go out and recruit, trade for other players other than
yeah,
Chris Paul. You know what I mean? So that is a good point to bring up.
yeah. So it's just like it's one of those things where it's like we really have no idea what would have happened, bro.
Mhm.
Because like it's just like the Lakers are such an infamous team that like they probably had plan B, C, and D ready to go if they got Chris Paul. Like they probably had something up their sleeve. Um, I want to go since we're kind of having a pattern here, so I'm gonna go with what if the Hornets never traded away Kobe, bro.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest ones.
Bro, like imagine so many things could have changed, bro. Like one, Chris Paul probably would have never even been on Charlotte in the first place.
Yeah.
And then two, who knows how Charlotte would look? And who knows how the Lakers would look, bro, because Kobe was like their saving grace at that time.
Mhm.
When they got Kobe, they were low-key a sad team in the league. They just kept getting nothing but failed rookies and they just couldn't like find their groove. And when they got Kobe, it was like, oh shit, like we're back.
Right.
So imagine like if Charlotte kept them, we could still be talking about how the Lakers were like an old school dynasty, like we talked about the Pistons.
Mhm.
Like it could have been like a thing of the past, the Lakers being really good. It probably wouldn't have been because they're in LA. So like they're a solid market, but still, it's just insane to think about all the implications that comes with Kobe being traded that night.
Right. And even like who even knows about Kobe's progression on the Hornets? You know what I
Also
mean?
true.
Like I don't know if the whole Mamba mentality was just him like personally or if it had to do with him being on the Lakers or what. But you know what I mean? Like there's just literally so many what if factors in just thinking about this event. It's like so many things could be different because he definitely would have got playing time rookie season on the
For
Hornets.
sure.
You know what I mean? So it's a lot to think about.
Like, I still think Shaq would go to LA, but like, how far does he go wearing a Lakers jersey? You know, like Shaq and Kobe were scoring 40 a night on some nights. Like, who would pick up the pieces in that scenario.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if Shaq gets one ring. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But like Kobe on the Hornets, like green light all night, every night would be crazy.
I also wonder how soon Jordan is about to own them in this scenario. 2000
He's
is when
still
it happened.
playing.
Oh,
Yeah.
true. Yeah,
Yeah, he's still
1996.
a bull, I'm pretty sure at that point.
By
But who's to say like if Kobe would even be on the
2010.
Hornets by the time Michael Jordan buys the team?
Yeah, because he buys a
Like,
team
That's true.
in
That
2010.
was another thing I was thinking too. Like, how long would Kobe stay on the team? Would he do his full 20, or is he going somewhere else?
Well, that man would be sick to his stomach with that Hornet. There's no way the Hornets get a team that suits him, or even just like one decent second superstar to
Right.
be by him. Now.
Yeah, because he almost left LA too, and they were doing way better than they were
Yeah.
than the Hornets were. So I can't
Yeah, exactly.
imagine how I'm just assuming he would have left like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, Muggsy Bogues, Dell Curry,
He never
Divock,
played with Steph's dad, bro.
Glenn Wright.
That's another what if, bro. What if he trained Steph? What if Steph became another Kobe, bro?
That would be crazy. Oh my god.
That's a stretch, but you know what I mean, like.
All right. Oh.
Yeah, so many implications, bro. All right.
At least I could picture him like dragging along a Charlotte team like to playoffs multiple years. Like it would probably be 30, 40 points a game in a series by himself. And it probably wouldn't be great. But he would be a legend in Hornets. The Hornets would have something. Like
True.
the last great player might like what, Larry Johnson. Like their superstar is LaMelo Ball right now, and he can't stay on the court healthy.
Mhm.
At least they would have something.
No facts. Also, like this is when like the Hornets kept changing to New Orleans too. Like,
Bro, I hated that period, bro. I hated it so much. Like, why did they keep changing their name? What was the reason?
there were the Bobcats, and then there were New Orleans, and yada. Yeah, bro. All right, moving on. Who wants to hit us for our next one?
I got us, brief mentioned him earlier, but Steph Curry on the Milwaukee Bucks instead of Monte Ellis. So for that trade was Monte Ellis for Andrew Bogut. And instead they go through with Curry because they offered him Curry at one point. Milwaukee said, no, we want someone more of a vet, more seasoned, got experience. So they didn't want Curry. They preferred Monte Ellis, and that's how Monte Ellis ended up on Milwaukee. Put Steph Curry in Milwaukee. Now he's not going to be a dynasty, but like think of the change in history from Milwaukee. You got Curry on the team. Assuming he ascends to where he is now, they're not getting Giannis.
I
that-
think they are though, because Giannis wasn't good when he entered the league, bro.
Yeah, but what year was he drafted? 2014?
Let's see. Giannis draft year. Giannis 2013, round 1, pick 15. Oh, okay. You might be right. You might be right. Because he was a pretty high pick.
Right. And then 2011 was the Monte Ellis trade. So that means Milwaukee will have had to have been bad for about
only 2 seasons. Three seasons?
Did 2013? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Well, two full seasons going in the off season for the third.
It's hard
It's
to
possible.
say. Yeah, it's hard to say.
Bro,
Because at the time, Giannis was a raw prospect. Like he was a gamble for teams. So I say Milwaukee probably would have taken that gamble, especially if the team as a whole was bad, whether Curry was good or not.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, if they did get Giannis and you got Steph and Giannis teaming up together,
and
That's a
progressing
little
at the
different.
same like, come on, bro.
Bro. Bro, I honestly think if Curry went to Milwaukee, he would not be the same player he is today. Because the whole reason why he did good in Golden State is because they gave him a chance, bro, when no one else
Well-
would. And I feel like Milwaukee would not have given him that chance. Because, like you said, they barely, like, let's say they barely wanted him in the first place. And let's say, like, okay, fine, we'll take him. I don't think they would have used him, bro. I'll be honest.
Well, I mean, like, who was starting for them at that time? Like, what was that team?
Maybe Michael Redd.
But
Was
I
it
mean, he was
2012, you said?
Yes. So he was still a 20-point scorer at that time.
true, but he also had to deal with injuries. You know, people
Yeah.
teams were concerned about his injuries.
Brandon Jennings,
Oh, he could
JJ
have
Redick.
outplayed. He could have outplayed Brandon, bro.
This is I feel confident about that only because he's the point guard. He has to handle the ball. He's probably going to shoot the ball as well. Like
Mhm.
maybe their coaching staff tells them to take less riskier shots, and maybe Steph isn't like as confident, I would say, as Mark Jackson gave him, like all that confidence. But I still think he's a great shooter in this scenario.
I think he's a great shooter and a great player, but I don't think he's changed the entire league player that he was on the Warriors.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And then he's in the Eastern Conference.
Which would be easier.
Well, this would be around the Heatles time, and then you would have LeBron on the Cavs time. I don't know.
I
East,
think-
it would look crazy though. You know, just Curry
It
being
would,
on the
yeah.
Eastern Conference, and kind of going back to the whole Kobe thing too. You know, Kobe being in the Eastern Conference, like all these what if scenarios are like essentially what if the East was better than the West?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of convinced, not convinced. I'm kind of more certain though he would have been like more of a James Harden type rather than a like, no one's breaking my record. Like
Right.
I don't know. I don't know cuz like I said, the Warriors like put their full faith in him and like I think the Bucks would have no choice but to play him. But I don't
Yeah.
think they would have been like, yeah, go ahead, shoot from 40. Like, and let alone like another reason why Curry succeeded is because like they had Clay and
Yeah,
Draymond.
yeah. I would agree with that. Inadvertently, I think in this scenario, LeBron probably comes out with more rings.
Really?
At least,
At
one more.
least, bro. I think so too.
But I mean, you still got to think he lost to the Spurs and the Mavs. I don't know if he's coming out with more.
Bro, I think about like all the teams the Warriors beat to get there. I don't think the Rockets probably had I think the only thing I would change is that like LeBron would have one more ring and the Rockets would have a ring, which means Chris Paul and James
Chris
Harden
Paul
would
would
have
have
a
a
ring.
ring.
Yeah. Because I don't think KD and Russ was gonna beat that Cavs team.
Yeah.
I think they could beat the Cavs. I don't know about the Heat though.
Yeah.
I
Like
mean, they didn't.
Well,
I don't know. It's just so many implications, bro. Because
right, because we said the Rockets team would win a ring, but the Rockets made that team specifically to counter the Warriors. Like they made that complete switchable defense. They wanted Chris Paul to run the offense so James Harden could score. Maybe that doesn't even happen.
True.
There's just so many branching paths just off this one.
we're in the
one trade.
multiverse, bro.
Yeah. I kind of want to go next because it kind of has to do, and I'm not doing this on purpose, I swear, but it kind of has to do with the Warriors, and that is if KD never left.
Mhm.
KD never left the Warriors.
Never left the Thunder.
The Thunder. Okay, yeah.
If KD never left the Thunder, bro, let alone the fact that the Warriors were like even more stacked. But that also means Russ wouldn't have a triple-double season, bro. Because one of the reasons why he had a triple-double season because he literally had no choice.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Well, think about it. KD doesn't necessarily rebound. Like, he will if he's there, but, like, he doesn't seek them.
I don't know, bro.
I think he could have. The stats would have just been lower. You know what it wouldn't have been like 30, 12, and 15. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he probably would. Maybe he would have, but it would have been even like, I think it would have been more special then, and also people wouldn't call it stat padding
Yeah. Like, it was just him playing
off
the
his
game.
mind. But
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. I just
Well,
don't see him getting the rebounds. Because I
A
know
big
KD doesn't
thing-
get rebounds, but like Russ kind of had no choice. Most of his rebounds was
Well,
second chances.
Like a big thing about Russ's rebounds is that Steven Adams would block out every other guy, and Russ would just go grab that. Like, who's getting around Steven Adams? He's too big. He's too strong. It's basically like the layup of grabbing a rebound.
Yeah.
Not to downplay because he's done this on multiple teams, so
Yeah.
it's certainly like high probability it happens. But I don't think he's getting an MVP. Not with KD on the team.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
Because then also, too, if KD stays, they don't get PG and they don't get Melo because that
Mhm.
also happened, too. So that
Thank
means
God.
PG would have probably went somewhere else, wherever that may be. I don't know where that would have been. But
Yeah. It also means that the West would have been like they would have no choice but to also do what they're doing now and just constantly build upon themselves.
mhm.
And what's happening now would have happened a lot sooner, I feel like. Because
think so.
once KD left, bro, like I know they weren't as good as we thought he would be, but like no everyone knew it was Warriors cast for like 3 years straight, bro.
Well, but even with that, too, who's to say OKC doesn't win against the Warriors? You know what I mean? In the playoffs.
They almost did it, bro. The only
I was
reason-
about to say, they literally went to like game 6 or 7. So, like, what if that next year they beat the Warriors and
yeah,
they end up in the finals again? So,
maybe
I
could have
feel like-
gotten some role players.
Yeah, like I'm thinking what the Rockets did and revamping the roster to counter the Warriors. I think the Thunder would have also done to counter the Warriors because like Sam Presti's very good at making deals as a GM. He had assets at the time. He had Victor Oladipo, Domantas Sabonis. This is assuming they still trade Serge Ibaka. So if they didn't want those guys and didn't see them developing, they could have traded for someone else, you know?
and
They
for
could have made
solid
it work.
pieces,
Yeah.
No SGA on the Thunder, bro.
yeah, we probably wouldn't see, today's Thunder. We definitely wouldn't.
No,
Yeah, we definitely
definitely wouldn't have. But like just the fact that like SGA would still be a Clipper.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And since that PG trade doesn't happen, he's probably a Cav. Because
Really?
he was getting traded either way. And I remember him talking about on his podcast, he thought he was going to be a Cav.
That would have been
So if Thunder don't throw their hat in the ring, he's probably teaming up with LeBron at some point.
That's
Which-
disgusting.
I don't see that working at all, bro.
Yeah, nah.
I do not see that working at all.
They gonna throw it. It would have been Kyrie, PG, LeBron.
No, that would have been for the Kyrie trade.
Yeah.
At that
Oh,
time,
for
yeah.
Kyrie.
Yeah.
So then who they would have had what? Delhi starting?
I don't know who would have been
I
their
mean, they
point
had
guard.
Delhi starting when they beat the Warriors.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true.
Curry stopper, bro. Don't sleep on him. But I don't know. It would have been D Rose. Because I gotta assume that the ones who were not from the Celtics would still be there. So it'd been
Right.
D Rose, D Raid, Paul George, LeBron, J.R. Smith,
Kevin Love.
Kevin Love.
Bro.
I don't know.
That's a
I-
blast from the past lineup right there.
I don't know. I think a team with two star bigs 9 times out of 10 won't work.
Especially when they play the same position. You know what I mean? Like small forward, and it's such like a, I don't want to say niche position, but
You don't need 2 good small forwards, bro.
yeah.
Well,
That's why the Clippers
Paul
don't
George.
do good.
That's true. They have Paul George playing shooting guard, where like his
Oh,
natural,
true.
maybe that spot. But you know, I mean, as you said, the Clippers didn't work out. Maybe it's injury wise or whatever. But I just never thought the Clippers were going to work out with a Kawhi PG combo. Damn, that a lot of happens because of this. That means Isaiah Thomas doesn't get traded.
Think,
There's
bro,
there's
bless.
no Kyrie. Yeah, this one decision to just keep KD.
It influences the entire league.
Everything.
I think the most exciting thing is that like what's happening in today's league would have happened like 4 years earlier, 5, 7 years earlier, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would have been so much more competitive, like way sooner than it, because it's competitive now because like the West and the East are just like we gotta like it's like an arms race right now. Like they're just trying to outdo each other all the time. And if KD and Russ like didn't get split, the arms race would have happened like what is that, like 8 years sooner, bro. But
yeah,
instead,
definitely would have been interesting. But then I wonder, like, would the league have had hit a dull moment now? You know what I mean? If that happened.
I mean, think of it right now. Do you think the league is dull now? Oh, this might start a whole different conversation. We might get off topic here. I think the league has been the most exciting it's been in a long time.
The regular season, yes. I haven't been excited for playoffs, though. I'm not going to lie. The finals, to me, have not felt like a finals. That's just my opinion.
Totally the NBA's fault, though. Like, think of all the finals branding 10 years ago versus now. Like, they don't even have that on the courts no more.
That's true.
I don't know why. They don't even have the patches on the jerseys anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like they're wasting away the finals branding, and for what?
Mm-hmm.
I also think a big reason why no one likes the finals anymore is because it's not the teams people think is going to go.
That's true. Yeah.
I think
it does play a fact, but also the Celtics this past season were the best team in the NBA. Everyone knew they were going to win. You know?
Bro, no. Don't say that because you know ball. Don't forget, on this podcast, we were literally talking about how we were so confused on why people thought the Mavs were going to win.
Well, yeah, but I didn't see them losing to the Mavs, bro.
Yeah, because you know ball, Eugene. No, but like, I feel like people are just like, I don't know. People are just more of like haters more than they are fans, bro.
Yeah, I see that.
Because I think everything before the finals was excitement, and then the finals hit, and all it was people saying that the Celtics were going to lose. Mm-hmm. It wasn't even necessarily that they were excited the Mavs got there. Mm-hmm. It was just that they wanted to see the Mavs lose. I mean, Celtics lose.
I also think we got spoiled as fans with the whole Warriors Cavs thing. Like, obviously in the moment we hated it because it was the same two teams.
Yeah.
But also looking back on it now, that was like such a special time to be an NBA fan, whether you like the teams or not, just because it was such a good series, you know? And then on top of that, we saw our first ever 3-1 comeback ever.
Yeah.
In NBA history. So me personally, I feel like we kind of got spoiled with that whole era, and there's not really any.
True.
Although they aren't rivals per se, there's not really rivalries. And we've talked about that previously too, but you know,
I think the major problem is there's no villain. You know, there's no
But yeah,
one
the
that's
Warriors
so
were the villains.
yeah, there's no
Yeah.
one you can just latch on. It's so easy to hate them. You
Mhm.
know, there's the Warriors. Then you had the Heat team up. If you like them, you're like a bandwagon.
Mhm.
Even probably back then, even further, the Celtics at some point.
Mhm.
Um, so like we don't really have that. Like the closest thing was hating on Celtics of the Celtics, but there's no giant inflated egos spewing in interviews like, yeah, we're the best.
Yeah.
We'll knock that team out. Like the
'Cause,
worst
like-
thing is that Jason Tatum is corny.
right.
It's hard to make that a villain.
Like everyone likes Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown literally keeps to himself. No
Yeah.
one else you can hate on the team. So
Yeah, who's out here hating on Drew Holiday? Like no one. You
No,
can't
for
really
real.
do that.
I think something we haven't considered too is like Raptors ring, bro. Like one of the
So-
big reasons why the Raptors got that ring was because the Warriors decimated the playoffs and then got injured in the finals.
Yeah. Definitely some injury health on there. My other what if was if Kawhi stayed in Toronto.
well, wait. Before we get to that point,
Okay.
if KD stayed on the Thunder, would the Warriors have made that finals against the Raptors?
At that point, that's like you're talking like we gotta predict 3 years.
Because I'm like, bro, like it my gears were turning a little too slow. But then I was like, wait, KD got hurt, and that was the whole reason they lost the finals, basically.
One of
Mhm.
one of the main like as soon as KD went down, bro.
They lost all hope.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just thinking like, well, but then does that mean obviously Kawhi, I assume, would still ask for that trade? Or did that trade already happen?
No, that trade
No.
happened because he
That was
didn't like.
2018-19.
Yeah, that was.
So
that was
that would
way-
have been later.
That was like
And it
1
was-
year.
It wasn't a decision dictated by like other teams. He just wasn't with. He didn't like how the Spurs health organization was working.
Right.
Knee
Yeah.
or something.
I think he still would have gone to Toronto, honestly.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Because it was solely Kawhi just not liking San Antonio.
just
And then
well,
Toronto
okay.
was like tired of being LeBronto.
True. But also you got to think like about who did they trade for?
DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, that's when DeMar.
Oh, maybe
DeMar-
that trade still would have went down. What were you gonna say, Vaughn?
I was gonna say, well, because Warriors don't have a KD, they have money to spend possibly in the future. They trade for Kawhi.
That would have been crazy.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say DeMar. I would have been like, okay, well that would make sense, but a Kawhi would be insane,
That means they would have lost at either Draymond or Clay.
or both.
Maybe. Like I think Spurs. I mean, they'd love a Clay, but I think they're too attached to him. I think they'd be willing to trade a Draymond more, and Spurs love defense and playmaking. Maybe they would find that a little bit more.
True, because Draymond was
Lucrative.
kind of losing in favor at this time too. He was no longer a splash brother at this point.
Yeah.
All
Oh,
right, bet. Oh,
oh yeah. What was your trade or what if?
so my what if is a team that I hold near and dear to my heart. Probably one of my bigger what if teams. It would be the 2017-2018 New Orleans Pelicans, in which they had AD and DeMarcus Cousins. If AD somehow stays healthy for more than half the season, at least more than half the season, Boogie carried this team. He carried them to the second round of the playoffs. They swept the Blazers, and then they got 4-1 by, the Warriors. But I think, sure, maybe they still would have lost to the Warriors. But they also don't have or didn't have two bigs to guard both AD and Boogie. Sure, you can put Draymond on Boogie. I think Boogie's still bullying Draymond. And then do they have Bogut at this time? 2017, 2018?
Who, the Warriors?
Yeah.
I think so. They should.
AD, that's easy money. That's an easy blow by every time. Me personally, I think they could beat the Warriors. Would they? Maybe not. But I think they have the potential to do it. You know what I mean? They didn't really have anyone else. They had Rondo.
They had Drew Holiday, bro.
Drew Holiday.
Yeah, they did have a Drew Holiday who was
That's a crazy defensive backcourt.
right, who was also still good.
Tony Allen. Old ass Tony Allen.
Yeah,
bro.
I was about to say that was out of his league, Tony Allen. Old Solomon Hill, Check Diallo, Jameer Nelson, and Emeka Okafor. Wow.
I
They
think
didn't get any playing time, but yeah. I think it was possible, bro. I think it was possible.
I think the biggest what if here is besides Drew Holiday like probably becoming like it gives Drew Holiday time to grow on the Pelicans, bro.
Mhm.
And that's just like the modern day like 03, not 03, what year was that? That Pistons team that just like would win solely because of their defense. I think if Drew Holiday stayed on that Pelicans team and had time to grow with them, bro, that could have been like a new version of that Pistons team. Where they're just clamping fools, bro. Because it like, let's say you get past the perimeter, okay, get past AD. Okay, now get past Cousins. Like, bro, you're asking a lot of your offense, bro, when you're going against the Pelicans.
Right. Mind you, this also is essentially prime Warriors team. So you do have to take that into perspective. But
I'm not saying they get a ring or anything, but like, bro, that may take them out of poverty for a long time, bro.
yeah.
They
And
might
it
not
gives-
get
it
Zion
just-
because of that.
Yeah, I think they would have kept Holiday, at least given him more of a chance. I feel like the Pelicans never gave him a strong chance to develop. You know what I mean? I could be
Yeah.
wrong though.
I don't know if he needed to develop when he was on the Pelicans. Like, he was a vet by the time he went to the Pelicans. Like, he's been in the league since 2009. By the time he was on the Pelicans, it was 2013. He'd made an
Yeah.
all-star team by that point.
By grow, I meant footing, because like they didn't really let him find his footing, bro. They like, I remember Drew Holiday on the Pelicans was like he was fun to watch, but like he wasn't definitely like a second option at all.
Right. He wasn't he definitely wasn't scoring like he was like he is now.
But like the Bucks let him find his footing, and so did it. Well, I mean, by the time he made it to the Celtics, people actually respected him. But the
Right.
Bucks like let him find his footing, bro. Like they let him like, they gave him the ball more. He was the main ball handler. So I feel like the Bucks actually gave him the chance to like do what he needs to do, whereas the Pelicans, they gave up on that team so quickly.
Right, because like once Lonzo Ball came, he was the point guard, and Drew's place kind of like diminished. I think his
Yeah.
importance, at least in the front office, seemed diminished. But the Bucks were hungry for a point guard, though. Eric Bledsoe was the prior point guard, and that man couldn't shoot, couldn't defend. They get Drew Holiday, it's like 10 times better.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
And then not only that, but like, bro, 2020, are the Lakers winning without AD?
No. No. That's 100% fact.
No, bro, Jimmy Butler, he might be walking away with a ring, bro. That's a crazy and DeMarcus Cousins probably would have been in the league a lot longer, bro.
Yeah, because he automatically would have gotten his extension had he not ring chase to go to the Warriors.
Yeah,
Plus, it's
I
like he
hate.
sees the success of the Pelicans.
Yeah,
Like that's probably not going to happen, especially if the Pelicans beat the Warriors in the playoffs. He's sticking with New Orleans.
that's a good one. That's one that like doesn't have as big implications, but it just like does so much for like just the Pelicans franchise,
Yeah, like it could have done so much.
and it stops LeBron from getting his ring too. But I'm like full confident, bro, that like who would have gone to the Lakers instead of AD? Who would have they gotten?
I have, yeah, nah.
There
During
was
that time,
no
I have
big
no
player
idea.
at that time.
Mm,
2018, 2019, like AD was the guy you were chasing.
mm.
Yeah, like he said, I want to be on the Lakers, and that was going to happen no matter
Yeah.
what.
But now he's like, I'm staying on the Pelicans to Boogie and Holiday. Like, bro, what did that meant for Alonzo Ball too, bro?
Yeah,
He
like
probably would have been out of the league, low key.
his confidence was broken in LA. Like, was not a good environment for him. Yeah. So if that's all for this one, we did mention the bubble championship.
Mhm.
If Kawhi stays in Toronto, do they win that? Because if after that point, I don't think they have any chance of even reaching the finals. But if Kawhi stays 2019, 2020,
Like, do they go back to back?
do they go back to back?
Bro,
Because
low key,
I
they
think
were
so.
not that Toronto team. Like this is a Toronto team without Kawhi brought the Celtics to 7 games. That was with no star player. This was just good role players mostly,
Mhm.
and then Pascal Siakam ascending. And now you got a Siakam who's better with Kawhi, with Fred VanVleet was better. Yeah, I see like high shot in that happening.
They might be going for a record. I'm not gonna lie. Like they were like he did that in a half of a season. He
Yeah.
led them to a championship in a half of a season. We have, well, not in our lifetime, have we ever seen that? And we probably won't see it again. You know what I
no,
mean?
for real.
So, like, I definitely think they could have went back to back with that team. And I kind of wanted to see it.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm a firm believer that if he stayed, they could have been like a solid like brick in the Eastern Conference.
Bro, Toronto would have, like, he would have been a god in Toronto.
Yeah.
They never get to the finals. They get to the finals twice back to back and win. He would have a statue everywhere.
And they still got to the second round that year without Kawhi. They still got to the second round. So that means if they had Kawhi, they would have beaten the Celtics again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure they're gonna beat the Heat.
Yeah, I do. I agree. Especially
And that
because
means the Lakers would have had a stronger team to face, bro. I'm sorry, bro. That Lakers team, it might have been like Raptors in 7, honestly. Because the Heat were not doing anything to that team.
No, because they have Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka guarding the paint, and then you got Siakam, Kawhi at the wing, and then of course Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, and OG Anunoby.
Yeah,
like that's a lot of defense you got to account for there.
Bro, LeBron already hated playing Kawhi too, bro.
But yeah.
I don't know. That's a good one, bro. Because that would have made the 2020 bubble even more exciting, bro. If Kawhi Leonard stayed. But it also means, what about the Clippers, bro? Are the Clippers? Are they going? Are they like going against the Nuggets in that second round?
No, there's no universe where that happens again without Kawhi.
Like, is Luka getting way more playoff experience because like the Clippers like got them out that first round? Like, is Luka going against the Nuggets and like getting a solid like experience against a solid team?
Probably. I think it would also hurl his expectations even higher than it already was because he's making a deeper playoff push. Like,
Yeah.
oh, next year we got to make conference finals. Year after that, finals. You know,
That's a
don't
little
know
what if
how-
though. What if the Mavs and Hawks don't trade their picks?
oh, that was another scenario I had. Yeah, like
Mhm.
if Trey stays with Mavericks and Luca on the Hawks.
It would definitely end up a little bit differently, but I don't think too much differently. You know, the Mavs haven't really until now surrounded Luca with what he needed, and the Hawks haven't done anything.
I honestly think, bro, I just think it would just mean that the Mavs would still would be more of a mid team, and the Hawks would just straight up be bad, bro.
Even with Luca, you think?
Yeah, because I don't know. Think of all the players they got was built around to so Trey could have someone to pass to.
Mm-hmm.
Now you need someone to pass to Luca, bro. Who are they gonna get? Because that's what they did for Kyrie. That's what they did with the Mavs. You know, they got Kyrie. I don't see Kyrie going to Atlanta, bro.
Right.
And then I just think the Mavs would just be mid as hell because that's basically what Atlanta is now.
Yeah.
I think Luca really did just do really just elevated the Mavs, but the Mavs were trying their hardest with Luca, bro. I just don't think Atlanta would do the same. I don't
Mhm.
think they would be trying their best to make sure he's okay
Mhm.
because they're not doing it with Trey Young. Like Mark Cuban was making sure Luca had pieces around him. It didn't always work, but at least he was trying.
I just think Luca's a better player than Trey straight up, and I think they would at least be doing better come playoff time.
True.
Like if Trey could make an Eastern Conference Finals run, I think Luca could do that at least more than once, if not a finals run.
This is going to be a super hot take. Luca's only better because of his height.
Bro, what?
That's
I mean,
a
that's part of
benefit. Yeah, but I wouldn't call it like that is all of it.
I don't know. I think Trey's just as good as Luca, but the only thing, Trey's like 6'1". I that's just what I think. I think Trey definitely has the same capabilities of Luca, but he also doesn't. Well, he doesn't need to / he can't because of his height. You know what I mean? Luca's 6'6", 6'7", basically a shooting guard, doing the duties of a point guard.
Mm.
That's just me though.
Like
I'm a Trey bias.
it does give the benefit of you can shoot over people more often. You could potentially play better defense because of the wingspan. So that's just by default. Luca's going to have that over Trey. But I just think his feel for the game is a little bit better than Trey's. This is a guy who was playing professional sports when he was 16. I think
He does
has
see
some
he does see it
intangibles.
also a lot differently because of the whole him playing in the Euro League. So they just see the game way differently than Americans do. But I don't know, bro. I'm sticking with it. I love my boy Trey Young, bro.
That is a hot take, bro. Not gonna lie. All right. Any other what ifs before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I have a couple more. We kind of touched on it earlier, but kind of putting a twist on it. What if the Lakers never sign LeBron and they go the Thunder route and they just rebuild with what they have? So they got Lonzo, BI, what's his face? Kuzma and Julius Randle, and just stick with them and progress them.
Bro, I feel like they honestly wouldn't. I think it was bound, whether it was LeBron and AD or just AD, the Lakers have a history of not rebuilding.
True. But I don't think I don't think AD would have signed with the Lakers.
No,
He only came to LA for LeBron.
no, I also agree that he probably wouldn't come to LA. But I just think it means that like they would have gotten someone eventually. They probably would have gone Kawhi instead of the Clippers getting Kawhi.
I think I agree with what you're saying. I don't know if it would have been Kawhi, but I think they would have built them up a little bit to where they're whatchamacallit, just like valuable. They have trade value. Because at that time, they were like rookie, second years. I think Julius was like a third year at that point, and also very injury prone, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't really. Their biggest accomplishment was winning the championship of Summer League at that time. I think Lonzo won Rookie of the Year. So like, they didn't really have any trade value. So I think they probably would have lasted until their rookie contracts. Maybe one or two of them would have re-signed, extended, whatever. And then they would get traded for a bigger piece, That's how I think it would have played out.
I definitely think two of them would have become about what they are now. Like Julius Randle, I feel like would have become what he was. And probably Brandon Ingram. But Lonzo, not confident. Kyle Kuzma, I'm not confident. Only because there's only so much scoring one team can do. Mm-hmm. And more young guys. You got Jordan Clarkson, Larry Nance. They're all young guys trying to prove themselves. So it might look like empty stats in certain cases too. Like I don't think this team would be very good had they all stuck together. Just like defense wise, I'm not seeing any like lockdown defenders.
We're because I think we're getting rid of Julius anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And he was our best defender, arguably, behind. Not even behind. He was our best defender. And then it would have been Lonzo. B.I. would have probably been our primary scorer. I really think LeBron absolutely obliterated Kuzma's confidence. So I really do think Kuzma would have thrived on a team like that because you would have had Lonzo at playmaking. You essentially could have used Kuzma as a spot-up shooter and then B.I. being the main point scorer. Clarkson would have forever came off the bench until he got a bigger bag.
Mm.
I was never a believer in Larry Nance. I'm sorry.
I think your starting center at this time would have been Brook Lopez because this was for the D'Angelo Russell trade.
I'm fine with that. He's still decent on the Bucks right now. So, veteran presence.
You still would have had Thomas Bryant, bro.
He would have gotten very little playing time. Or maybe some like rotational minutes, but
maybe.
I mean, if you look at it, you have a lot of guys. You have Zubac.
Ooh.
You have Randall.
Yeah, no, Bryant would have played. Bryant wouldn't have played.
Gary Payton the second, Larry Nance, Brook Lopez, Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, Deng, Clarkson, Caruso, KCP, Bryant.
Deng was basically retired. He did not step foot in a Laker uniform.
He was just getting paid the whole time. That's all.
Like, bro, you have so many people who like could have been given a chance who all just didn't get a chance.
I think two of them would be out the league by now. Like Josh Hart, I don't think would be playing if he was still on the Lakers all that time.
I think both Josh Hart and Bryant would have been out of the league. I mean, Bryant's
he kind of already.
Yeah.
Josh Hart, damn,
Caruso.
Y'all are probably
Oh,
right,
Car-
but it's only hard for me to see because of how successful he is now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it
So
took
I
him a
guess
long time to get to this point, bro.
yeah, like it. I see what you're saying because also too at the time I was like Josh Hart's a bust. You know what I mean? So like I was not a fan of him at that time.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. And then you said Caruso.
I feel like
Caruso would have been a sleeper. I think we did play him a lot. We did play him a lot.
he would have been gone sooner, in my opinion.
You think? I don't know, because like we still gotta have a bench, bro. I think Clarkson would have been bench. I really do think Josh Hart would have been bench. Caruso would have been bench. Who'd you say? Zubac would have been bench. Who would have been a power forward? Or a small forward?
Uh Corey Brewer, Luol Dang,
Corey Brewer's crazy.
Nigel Hayes. Oh, Brandon Ingram, duh.
Well, but he's not a
Well,
bench player. He'd be starting.
Travis Ware, bro, you have no
Yeah,
small forward.
yeah, no, we don't have bigs. So that
No
would be
wonder
a problem.
after LeBron and AD.
Yeah.
Bro, Corey Brewer.
Another scary problem is that Lakers could have overpaid certain guys. Like maybe they overpay Brandon Ingram so much, it's like a Zach LaVine contract, where it's so much it's not really worth trading for. Or maybe they paid the wrong guy. Like I know they did Taylor Horton Tucker. They gave him a fat contract at one point, and he didn't pan out to who he was. Low key, Max Christie could be the next one if we're talking about today, but jury's still out on that.
Yeah,
So.
true. Because if you're really wondering, like, you know, all your small forwards were kind of old except for Travis Ware and Nigel Hayes. One of them would have gotten paid, bro. You would have had a guy named Nigel on your team, bro.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we definitely would have traded away some pieces, if not all of them, like
Yeah,
we did.
I
But
think that the Lakers, it's just bound to happen.
right.
Like, and that's probably like one of the only cons that comes with being a Lakers fan, beside like always getting shit on for the
Mhm.
littlest things, is that like you're rarely gonna see a guy actually grow on your team.
Yeah, it's always just a win now.
Win
Kinda
now
thing.
mentality 24/7.
Yeah,
Unless
even if
well, see, also another thing though, we kind of went through a rebuild phase, but nobody remembers it because they stuck at it. This was the Jody Meeks era. This
Oh,
was
true.
the Robert Sacre era, the Jordan Hill era. Players who are no longer in the league. This was like, I think this was like 2014, 13, sometime around that. Bro, that might be the reason why they don't rebuild, because they know they can't.
I mean, yeah, they tried to rebuild before Kobe,
Yeah,
and they didn't.
Yeah.
They couldn't.
exactly. So they might have scared themselves, but I don't know. I
Right.
think they really could have done something with at least Lonzo, Kuzma, and BI. They were all hopeful.
I mean,
think
they're
the
all
scary
guys
thing,
who are doing semi-okay now.
yeah, but like also, if the Lakers are bad as a whole, they're probably getting higher draft picks. Some of those guys got to go, and they probably would do it too soon and get too little value in return if they want like this number 3 small forward to like be their future. They got to trade Ingram, and maybe they could get like role players in return. So it would be Zion on the Lakers. Oh, I think bro would just get bullied more.
Yeah, no, I don't think that would. Well, I don't think that would ever happen anyway. But if it were, yes, that would. I would agree. I agree with Vaughn. That would probably happen.
Yeah,
Or he would be caught getting. He would be getting caught doing more things off the court than we have already seen.
Bro, man's lucky he's in a nobody ass team, bro. Bro is so lucky. If just 5 more people cared about his team, he would be in so much more drama. All right, that's probably what we're gonna call it. So, if you are listening to the audio format, we are on all podcast platforms. So make sure you give us those 5 stars, leave a review. We're on YouTube for video format as well. So make sure you like and subscribe there. Let us know your what if moments that specifically had to do with the franchise. Let us know what moments we forgot, and also, one of your ones that you thought of. We're on all social media at Spin the Rock. So make sure you follow us there for clips and episode updates. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next week. Who knows what the topic will be, but we got some bangers lined up, so you don't want to miss it.